Good. Hi guys, I'm here with Keith, who's from the Bradford Metropolitan Food Bank. So Keith, tell us a little bit about your own background, about what the Bradford Metropolitan Food Bank is about, and why you decided to volunteer for the food bank.
Right, yeah, we're all volunteers. There's a committee of 6 who began it in 2004, and there are about 60 volunteers who come in and help do the sorting of the food and the packing of the bags. There's a group of girl guides in tonight with their keepers, as it were, helping do that.
Yeah.
And they enjoy it, and it means that they support us in a wider way. We were started by a local Sikh who for years he'd been collecting curry late at night and driving around and giving it to homeless people who were sleeping rough on the streets of Bradford.
Yeah.
Called the Curry Project. It was quite well known. And after a while he realised that there were people who had the same hunger, the same need for food, but they got a roof over their heads, so they weren't rough sleepers, they got somewhere to sleep, somewhere to be hungry. And so he decided that he needed something else apart from what he was doing, and that was to collect food and make sure it got to the people who were hungry. So we started in 2004, very small scale to start with. The last 3 years we've taken off enormously.
Right. So you've mentioned that in the last 3 years you've taken off, you've really rocketed in terms of how much work you have to do. Why do you think that is? So obviously something must have happened in the last 3 years that's caused more of a need for people.
And that, a whole range of things have happened. For example, over the last 5 years or so, there has been a reduction in the standard of living. I mean, the cost of living has increased, but the national income levels have fallen, have been reduced in many cases. So that's happened. Energy prices and so on have gone up, so that's heating homes and all that's gone up. So the demands on people who have little money have increased. There's been a rash of what I would call unuseful and probably uneconomic forms of employment. So 0-hour contracts don't help. They certainly don't. They don't give them the continuity. They don't allow them to develop any sort of capital. 0-hour contracts, short-term contracts, and all of those have helped as well.
Just for those at home that maybe aren't too familiar with the term 0 hours contract, it's basically where you're working for someone on as when needed kind of thing. They give you a call, you might say, right, you've got work today for 2 hours, the next day you might not get anything, and you only get paid per hour of what you work. And it's usually just minimum wages.
And the other thing is the minimum wage, the difference between the minimum wage and the living wage. When the minimum wage started, it wasn't a living wage, but it wasn't very far below it.
Yeah.
And over the last 5 years, the gap between the two has risen considerably and noticeably. So if you put all of those together, plus the fact that there's been a demonisation by the last government of people on benefits, it's made the word welfare and benefit almost a dirty word in this country, which is in fact quite the contrary to what happened just after the war. I mean, I remember the euphoria, 1945 and afterwards, when we had a welfare state for the first time and we would look after people in need. And we saw that as positive, we saw that as mature, as something that was very reasonable. The last 3 or 4 years there's been an attempt to denigrate that, and it's meant that people on benefits have been treated very badly, and particularly people seeking work. Job seekers allowance and also people on disability living allowances have suffered with the way they've been treated. So you can be sanctioned for the smallest infraction of going to sign on. If you're minutes late, you can have 3 weeks, you can have to have 3 months sanctioned. That means your benefits are stopped,
right,
and you have no income.
Yeah. And even with those benefits, it's very limited.
That's right.
In terms of, actually brought a very good point which I wanted to talk to you about. that was the demonisation of people on benefits, people on job seekers, even unfortunately, even some people who are on like disability allowances, people using food banks.
Well, disability living allowance people, many of them had their DLA reduced or stopped. They appealed. 60% of the appeals were allowed, though they do take weeks and weeks to happen. So it's the delays, but it's also what's say impolite, the downright rude, the aggressive way that people are treated. Yeah. And I actually find that to be a gross impertinence in the society that I live in.
What about TV programmes? I don't know if you're familiar. Have you heard of Benefit Street?
Yeah, Benefit Street. I mean, Channel 5, I don't watch Channel 5. I don't watch it for there's perhaps still programme I might do, but mainly I wouldn't watch it because they think it's reasonable to get people to watch other people suffering and also to misrepresent. And that's what Benefit Street has done.
Basically what they do is they get one or two people who are going to make good TV.
Yeah.
They're going to shock people into watching the programme and then paying everyone else on benefits like these people. Because there will be people watching this who will look at us and think, some people have a mentality of, well, you're in a country where land of opportunity, where there's good schools, etc., etc. If you're in this situation, it's because you're lazy or because you couldn't be bothered working or because you try to scrounge. You've heard the term scrounge, you scrounge off the government. Us hard-working people are having to pay for you, and all that kind of stuff.
You've just used that phrase, hard-working families, has been the most overused phrase over the last 6 months during the election period.
Comes up time and time again.
Hard-working everything. And if they weren't as hard-working as the government has suggested, the productivity level in this country wouldn't be the lowest in Northern Europe.
Right, that's a good point. But like if you just look at the camera now, what would you have to say to people who have a mentality of, we're not like here to attack anyone or insult anyone, but like kind of like reaching out to them, what would you say to people who maybe have a mentality due to a misunderstanding or whatever, that people who are on food banks or benefits or etc., it's kind of like their own fault that we're in that situation. What would you like to say to them?
Apart from the fact that in 99.9% of the cases, it isn't their people's own fault. It's just circumstances, the way things are. I would say, just thank your lucky stars that you're not involved like that. That you know that tomorrow you can eat food, you know where the food is. You know that you've got spare money that will help you pay for your rent. And you can pay for things that need repairing, you can pay and look after your children properly. The fact you've got that, you're so fortunate. These people haven't got it for whatever reason. And the clarity that I would expect in the sort of country that I want to live in is one where welfare is a positive way of looking after people.
Okay, that's a great way of putting it. In terms of coming back now to Bradford Metropolitan Food Bank, we obviously work hard to try and provide professionals with the food needed for them to assess individuals and decide where to
So unlike most food banks, we never see the people who eat the food.
Right.
We don't see that that's our job. We don't want to interview people about their job prospects, about where their money goes, what they do with their benefits. That's not up to us. There are professionals, there are social workers looking after children, looking after families, looking after the elderly, looking after young people. There are all sorts of housing issues, for example. Housing associations don't just provide you with a place to live in. Quite often they provide a caring situation as well for people. One of the things that's struck me over the last 10 years or so being involved in the food bank is the level of mental health problems in this country.
Right.
Now, thankfully, I could be accused of having mental health problems by some people, but I've never suffered from mental health problems.
Yeah.
That I know of.
Yeah.
And the fact that people suffer that way, if they all had broken legs and had big cuts on their legs, people would be very much more sympathetic to them.
Because that's something you can see.
You can see it, but someone who's got a mental health problem, which makes life quite difficult for them to cope. there's an enormous amount of that around in our modern society, and that's something that I've learned to respect. And people like that need support. Now, the people who give that support are not us, the food bank. It's the professional workers, it's the social workers, it's the probation officers, it's the housing officers, it's the people. National health intensive care teams, national health mental health teams. They're working flat out all the time, and they're working round the clock. I mean, tonight, for example, I would get home at about 9 o'clock, and it's quite likely that by 9 o'clock I would get a phone call from the local hospital saying someone is being sent home to clear a bed, and they've got no food. It's going to take at least 10 days to get their benefits sorted because they've all been stopped. Can we help? Yeah. That will happen tonight. Yeah. And the worker, we will make the worker come to us. So the worker comes to us. We do that as a sort of filter. It's not easy. We're not going to just give the worker the food and take it to them. If they want it for their client, for the person they're looking after, we say, come and get it from us. And they do come. Yeah. And if I tell you that we gave out over 1,000 bags, each bag worth £15 worth of food last month, in a month.
In 1 month?
In 1 month.
So in the past year, what kind of scale do you think people, in terms of how many people does this food bank benefit, roughly?
If you think we gave out 10,000 bags, I'm not sure how many, we don't count out those numbers, whereas food banks that actually see the people with the food, they do. But we know, for example, that it can either go to an individual, or it can go to a couple, or it can go, quite often it goes to a woman with 2 children. Today, we've just given food bags to the support group. So this is a local, in Bradford, not far from the city centre, a children and family centre that looks after, provides services for families. But the mother in this family, would you believe, had found a new friend on Facebook, and had disappeared, taking all the savings and taking all the child allowance books with her, and then gone. Left the hospital with 4 children. Now, it sounds as though I'm being very, very critical of her. I may well be, but I suspect there's a lot more to it than that. But he needed food, with his stop his kids being hungry. Yeah. So the social worker came to me this morning, and we supplied them with food. We'll see them through for about 10 days.
Right. Obviously, this place is based mainly in Bradford. There's people watching from this area who wanted to volunteer their time. We'll get on to donations in a second. But for those who might be interested in volunteering their time to come and help, how could they go about doing that?
If they go online, they can look up Bradford Metropolitan Food Bank and all the details, the contact details of it.
Yeah, brilliant. So you can go on, just Google Bradford Metropolitan Food Bank. Also, what about in terms of, there's going to be links on the Facebook and Twitter pages for the Dawn Challenge.
There is a Facebook. We have a Facebook page.
You have your own Facebook page as well. Right. All the links to the Facebook pages will be at the bottom of the video. If you do want to donate, you can check out the Dawn Challenge either on Facebook or on Twitter. Links will be on for donations. And also on the 24th of June, we're going to be in Bradford Town Centre, raising awareness for the Bradford Metropolitan Food Bank, raising awareness about the need for food banks, how people can help. So if you're free on the 24th, it's going to be a Wednesday, do pop down and see us in the town centre. And is it just money that people can use to donate, or can people bring in their own food? Like food and things?
If people collect food, either in their own houses or the places of work, and let us know, we will collect that food
from them. So you will go and collect it from them, right? So this is a good way of doing, for example, schools that might be interested.
I mean, schools are fantastic. Churches are fantastic. There are churches which regularly donate food to us every 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Year after year.
Yeah.
There are schools which collect for us 2 or 3 times a year. Not once a time. There are individuals who actually spend their own money. They're not workers, so they just come in with bags of food for us.
Yeah. It's a great way of
If we say that Bradford people last year provided over £150,000 worth of food for us.
£150,000 and still at the need for like.
Oh, yes, yes.
So anyone watching this, even if you're not from Bradford, you can donate online. Links are going to be at the bottom. If you want to learn more about the Bradford Metropolitan Food Bank, links to their website and Facebook page will be at the bottom.
The other thing I'd say about us is that we are a secular outfit.
So it's like for all religious backgrounds, all ethnic backgrounds.
So we were started by a Sikh. We have Muslim volunteers. We collect from mosques, and so on. So we're not just one.
Yeah, it's all religious backgrounds.
And we don't have a religious message. The message we have is you will be a happier human being and a nicer human being if you've got the full stuff.
Yeah, it's basically if somebody's hungry, you just help them.
That's right.
Right.
Absolutely.
And we're not like giving food in one hand and like political or religious message in the other hand. We're just there to help whoever needs help. Yeah. Keith, been a pleasure talking to you, my friend. Thanks very much for your time. Check out the links at the bottom if you want to support. And catch us in Bradford Town Centre on the 24th of June. Catch you guys there. Thank you.
Thank you.